Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek Aloud for the Gaming Enforcement Agency, episode 89. Unky Dunky, you're back, sir. How are you this evening?
Mate, I'm back. Very good. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so let's see how we go.
Yeah, rolling the cobwebs off. We blew a bit hard and we lost Bully in the process. He was intending to join us. He has been playing the game. Let's jump into it, shall we? Games, interrogation, and deliberation of Prince of Persia. Lost crown, lost button. Here we go. All right, mate. I was playing it on Xbox, but please lead the investigation. And which platform were you on?
Mate, I was on PlayStation 5, and thank God you messaged me about this having a demo, because I did not realise that was the case, and I thought I was going to have to wait till the 18th or 15th if you pre-order. I think it's the deluxe edition, $10 more. You get it 3 days early, so the 15th being Monday. But it was nice to be able to play the demo and get my hands on it, because I don't think I was too keen on it before then. I was like, oh yeah, it's side-scrolling Metroidvania game. I played quite a few of them last year and the year before that, but pleasantly surprised so far from what I've seen. This is the guys that brought us Rayman Origins and Legends, I think, back in the day on the Ubi engine, which is now, I think, running on Unity engine, which is a little bit different, but that's similar kind of cool graphic art style, which I really enjoy in games as well, which I've sort of waxed on about a fair bit in terms of my graphical preferences, and I really do enjoy this art style, and especially when, go Super Saiyan with some of the special moves that I can't call him the Prince, because technically he's not the Prince of Persia in this game, which is...
isn't he? I missed all the narrative. Tell me, who is he?
That's not like you to skip story narrative.
Gameplay. Get me into it.
I mean, lucky the gameplay is very good, but no, you are Sargon or something like that. You are one of 7, ancient people that are similar to the Avengers, from what I can gather in the storyline. And a prince has been captured by the big bad, and you are going out to rescue them. And obviously, you look very much like the prince, and you've got all those moves. But no, for all intents and purposes, at the moment, you are not the Prince of Persia. You are trying to rescue the Prince of Persia. But as far as
prediction, prediction: when we get to the end castle, do we get told, "Sorry, your prince is in another castle"?
We could. They could lean on different tropes of other games, which at the moment, all the tropes that I'm seeing from other games are actually quite good, because this has given me Celeste vibes, which I absolutely adored. Ori and the Blind Forest, or whatever it's called. It's sort of doing all the Metroid stuff really well. I think the combat is really good in this game, and this is only scratching the surface, because obviously there's a whole bunch of different upgrades the Prince can, or the not Prince can get as well, which we've sort of toyed around in the demo, which does give you sort of a bit of a variety to play around with, which I imagine we don't have all those skill sets when we first pick up the main game. So they just give us a vertical slice of some of the good stuff to expect, which I think is probably the right way to do a demo. I think you could chuck out a demo and say your progress carries over, but I think if you play the first 2 hours of a game where it's, you're just learning the mechanics of the game, that can be quite boring. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I won't pick this game up, because I've pretty much seen all it has to offer, which from all accounts, this game is not like that. Apparently, the more you play, the more abilities you unlock, the better it becomes. And that's sort of seen in the reviews for the, people that have got this game early, and they're giving it sort of high 9s, and there's been a couple of 10s out there. So from all accounts, a very, very good game. And I'm very much looking forward to the full release now.
It's fantastic. The first question for you, mate, do you think the super he throws out, what is it, left trigger and Y or something? It looks very Street Fighter to me.
It does, and I really much enjoyed Street Fighter last year, especially for that art aesthetic as well. So I think you can chuck out an L2 and a triangle as well, or a Y, or a melee attack, and they both do different sort of moves as well. And I believe we're going to get more of those. But just I love the paint splash and the color, and I just really like that use of color in games like this. It just gives us sort of a slight point of difference. And Prince is back, baby. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a mainline Prince of Persia game. I'm not sure if you want to call this a mainline Prince of Persia game, but I mean, they're doing all the right things from what I can tell so far, and I'm actually excited to play it, which, as I said before the demo, I don't think I was.
Yeah, no, it wasn't sitting very high on my radar, but then, demo dropped, and I am so keen for this now. My only request is, did you at all, and I don't think you have to, but for me, I had to move the platforming onto the D-pad in order to do it. Like, I can't do it on the thumbstick. I'm too loosey-goosey.
No, I was fine with the thumbstick. I think I've played a lot of these games now using the thumbstick. I think Dead Cells is one that, could be played better on a D-pad as well, but I really enjoyed that on the thumbstick, and it's got very similar control mechanics to that game as well, I think, which is another testament to this game having good mechanics. It's sort of taking the best parts of a lot of these games we've played recently and putting them all together. And I just think, it's brilliant game design. From what I've seen, the levels seem really intricately crafted, and there's, you can actually explore and find hidden chests and all that stuff, and it rewards that exploration amongst the 2D planes as well. And they've got a mechanic now where you can actually take a photo of where you are in that level. If there's something you want to come back to remind you to go back there, which I think is a genius move when it comes to these games, because the amount of times, you'll see something in a level and go, I know I'm going to have ability to come back here at some point, being like a Metroidvania, and once you get that ability, trying to figure out how to get back to that point or where that point in the game was can be difficult. But they've solved that issue by having this like screenshot thing you can do on your map that shows you where that bit was, which I think is a genius part of game design. I think they've done really well.
Of course, I didn't read any of the text, but I was hopeful they were fast travel points. But is there fast travel in it? I didn't come across any.
I haven't seen any fast travel, but I believe from some of the reviews that I've actually read, there is fast travel. I'm not sure that it's between these save trees, which I think it might be, or something separate.
I was hoping those markers you could put down, you could just jump to, like, I'll come back here when I've got the key or whatever,
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but there'd have to be some kind of fast travel. I think in a game like this that's, branching on a massive map, I think, to have to traverse all the way back down through some of the things could be rather tedious. So very happy to see that.
Sorry, the one point I was meant to get back to, the moving it to the D-pad, it all worked fine, except for the trying to jump down and hit A to drop through a platform. It doesn't register the down on the D-pad like I'm hoping for a day one patch.
Yeah, that's all. I had no issues. Actually, me with the joystick and going down, I had no issues at all. Sort of hitting down the joystick and hitting X to get down. So
I had to flick it back to the thumbstick and then drop down and then flick the controller back to the movement on the D-pad. It was not pretty, but such a minor gripe. This looks amazing. I love the parrying. How'd you go with that, man? Demon Souls-esque?
Yes, love the parry mechanic in this. And I like that in the accessibility menu, you can actually determine sort of how big a parry window you want as well. So I think that's really good, because some people can get quite frustrated with some of the tight parry timing you get in some games, and it's satisfying once you know how to do it, but sometimes mastering it can be almost impossible. You just don't use that mechanic in the game. So I really like they've given you an option to sort of, create a bigger window for that parry mechanic. I think I just left it on the normal and I was having no real issues with doing it and found it quite fun and skillful to try and do that. And when you do land a parry, it just feels really, really good. And then being able to throw out and hold the triangle or Y button to throw out your shield like Captain America, and you can get an ability where you can tap it again and hold it in place and hold the enemies in place, and just the melee attacks with the ranged attacks. Like this thing, it just all flows really nicely and it just controls really smoothly. Like in combat, you almost feel like you're in a Smash Brothers game. Like it's that tight of combat, and the enemy difficulty, enemy variety, I think is really good as well. You always seem to be finding something different. It never sort of holds you up on the same enemy for any given time. And this is just a demo that I'm playing, so I can only imagine what the full game's going to throw at us.
Was it like 3 biomes? Was sort of my take on it as we ran through it in the demo land.
Yeah, I reckon it was about 3, and it was quite varied and really good to look at, and like the way they've
vastly different enemies, vastly different art styles.
Yeah, and it's just everything feels like it's got a good place. Like you look at the backgrounds here, it's not just a 2D plane, it's sort of a 3D plane on a 2D thing, and just everything seems to have a good weight to it. And like just even though you see like pots that seem like they might be in the foreground or background, you can still slide in them. The way you're holding your swords, the way you swing them on the screen, still it gives you the ability to take those pots out. It just, I don't know, it's just really satisfying. It makes a really cool noise. It's just like rolling through boxes in Bloodborne or Dark Souls. It's got that nice crunchy noise to it. So no, it's really enjoyable.
It's great. My favourite bit, I reckon, is the sliding in. Like you kind of uppercut, you throw them in the air, and then you slide to close the distance and straight up with the knife again. That is such a fun mechanic. I just enjoy. I don't care what the enemy is. That is a fun mechanic any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely agree. And just the being able to, when you're swinging on poles, direct where you're actually going to swing off that pole with the trajectory, as opposed to just sort of, hitting hoping. I just really like just certain things like that. Just make the combat, the flow of the game, just the traversal really fun to do. And no, I said I wasn't excited for this until the demo, and now I'm thinking I may have to pay the extra $10 to get it a few days early.
Oh, you are keener than me, so I think I'll be waiting for the full release. But even a shout out to the elevators, like call back to the, like Elden Ring style. It just gives it that real scope of the level. It makes it feel like a massive environment. It's so well done. I love the art style. Love everything about this. I'm so keen for it. Definitely picking it up, and you're going deluxe edition, are you, sir?
Yeah, I might do. I mean, I've got some time off this week, so I might as well make the most of it and get it 3 days early. It's only an extra $10, I think, on the standard edition, so not too much to break the bank. And as I've said previously, one of my favourite pre-order incentives is that 3-day early access. So no, I'll probably have to do that.
Yeah, nice. And are you a Ubisoft Plus member? I think you get another 10% off if you are on the PlayStation. That is.
Yeah, I reckon I might be. So I'll have to check the store, but I think I'll be. definitely down for that extra $10 off, I think.
Nice work. All right, man. Well, great to catch up with you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts tonight with us on Prince of Persia. And keep your eye on the channel, viewers. We'll have the Let's install up, what was it, the 18th we said, I think. The 18th. Correct. We're back. Hey, Unky Donkey, what else could you do with the channel?
You can like it, subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck.
Hey, that's something.
Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.